Thank you very much for having me. My name is Covi. I'm actually trained as a social worker and ironically was working in child wellbeing at the time that this particular job came up 2 years ago. So it's a little bit of a story. My husband had cancer probably 8 years ago. We went to the wonderful Associate Professor Michael Back, so he travelled from the Central Coast every day for his treatment, both treatments. He exercised the whole way through, did not stop. He just continued his amateur boxing, he ran, he walked, we went on the beach, and he did extremely well, survived, and he's sitting down there right now. He decided to come and be a support. But when this job came available, I thought wellness, health promotion, cancer, families, carers, it just all seemed to fit together. And witnessing Paul go through his treatment and maintaining exercise, which maintained his muscle, which maintained his ability to be able to be active, to be enthusiastic, to be motivated, to be connected to something, it just felt right. And when I walked into the cancer centre after getting the job, so the Central Coast Cancer Centre, brand new, state-of-the-art, innovative centre, Michael Back walked past me and he said, "You got the job." And he was the one that actually secured the funding to create the wellness role that I got. So it went full circle, and now, thanks to him, Central Coast Health has got the most amazing innovative wellness program running. Probably the most innovative point of it is that Central Coast Local Health District doesn't fund it. So apart from supporting us with the trust management and the accountants, so our management accountants, we do have a director of allied health who then will be my supervisor, so I'm part-time, 2 days a week. Other than that, we are funded completely from community donations through Dry July and other organisations. So in terms of providing a support program that meets the holistic aspects of a person's life, regardless of whether they've got cancer, we do that without costing the health service any money, which they love. So what we are, this morning, we heard all morning about unsupported needs of people with cancer. And so what we did, with the new cancer centre, Michael discovered that we all know that people need the psychosocial support. It's a given. We don't need evidence to tell us that. What we need is more resources and staff to support those people going through those issues. Now, Michael said, okay, we don't have enough allied health staff. In actual fact, we had one psychologist who is here somewhere, who is phenomenal, Sue McConaughey. So she's a very, very strong part of this program. She's basically always with us doing the goal setting, the motivation, the planning. So we have one psychologist for the whole of the Central Coast in cancer care. We had one full-time social worker, 2 part-time social workers, no physiotherapists, no occupational therapists, and at that point, no speech therapist and no dietitian permanently at the centre. State-of-the-art, innovative place, beautiful. So Michael said, well, let's get some funding through Dry July. Let's apply, get the funding and get some allied health staff in so that we can provide support for these unmet needs. And when we went to Dry July, they're phenomenal, but you cannot employ staff with the money. You can use the money to purchase things for your environment, to run programs. You can't fund staff. So then innovatively, they decided, well, can we engage a project worker? Yes, that's me. And can we then set up programs where we actually engage professionals who are trained in the area to actually provide the support that we're lacking? And that included music therapy, art therapy, Tai Chi. So it was expanding it out to complement the treatment that's already there. The other thing we noticed really strongly and really quickly, we did a needs analysis and then just with people coming, people don't need counselling. They didn't need to be told how to manage their treatment. They didn't need things. What they needed, what they told us they needed, was to feel normal. What they wanted to do was connect with people, learn from each other, actually gain the information in a fun way, be entertained, have fun, and take that information away and work out how to implement it into their own life. So how do you build it into your life rather than making it another thing that you have to do? So when I was listening this morning, I was thinking one of the key things we did was it's voluntary, first of all. It is voluntary. There are posters everywhere. We do advertisements through the paper. We do them on the radio. We do them at the private hospitals. We do them at our hospital. Word of mouth, phenomenal. So it's very much, if you want to come, you choose to come. But it's actually presented in a very positive way. So yes, you will get information. Yes, you will get support. Yes, you will get all the things that we know you should get. but you actually get them in a very fun way, you choosing how you want to get them, through music, through art, through exercise, whatever, and it complements what's already there. And when you come to that particular program, whichever one you choose, you then are in contact with people like myself and Sue and any other allied health professional or nurse who can give you information. Cancer Council is our first point of call, because why reinvent the wheel? They've got the information. But if we determine, or the person says to us, I need more, then we're at a point where we can actually refer on appropriately to the more structured services. The reality is the structured services can't cope. So if in the meantime the wellness program can hold people, sometimes those people don't need to go to the structured service. They're actually really happy, they connect, they move on, they move to support groups, they move on with life, which is what I hope we're all trying to achieve. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. So we made a Dry July application, which any of you in the public health system can do, and it's not only hospitals. We had a memorandum of understanding and we got funding for 3 years, and they've just renewed that funding for another 3 years. The interesting thing is you can only use Dry July funds for adults diagnosed with cancer, but also their family members and friends. So it's very broad. It's not just about people with cancer, it's anyone who's really connected with that person with cancer, which is fantastic because that enables us, when we run a program, to run it for anyone connected with that person who's got cancer. And what we find is often it's the carers that will come and get more out of it than the person, but they go together. Or sometimes they go separately, or sometimes they'll go with other family members because they want to learn about how best to support the person with cancer at home. It also stipulates not private patients, so it should be public patients, but because we run a wellness program, we can actually advertise so private patients can come to us. It's just predominantly it shouldn't be directed at private patients, it's public. And then basically what we do on the Central Coast, it's anyone who has had a diagnosis of cancer, their family members and carers can come. So in terms of readiness and timeliness, we don't particularly worry about that because people will tell us when they're ready to come to whatever program it is we're offering. So while we might have doctors, we might have nurses and social workers, we've got brilliant people, our psychologists, referring to us. They might say, I think it's really important that you contact so-and-so because they're interested, so we'll do that. But we don't just cold call off a list. It's a lot of people choosing to take this path. We do have a very strict governance structure because we are using community-funded money. So within Central Coast Local Health District, we have the Director of Allied Health is effectively my manager, but then there's a steering committee which obviously has the terms of reference. The trust fund is managed separately by our trust manager and our management accountant, and then there's myself, and then most importantly, what we've developed, they call themselves our CoastCanCare groupies. What we've developed is this fantastic core group of people who have embraced the program, have come to nearly everything we've ever run, and then try and bring other people into the program. So they're probably our voice of referral more so than any of us. It's the voice of them telling people what they got out of it. I think the other thing is that that advisory group is very much people who have had cancer and also their family members and carers, and from any spectrum. So presently diagnosed, some people are 5 years on and they're coming to our programs now saying, I wish it was around at the time, but then we've got people who are having treatment now and saying now's not the right time. So that's why we just leave it open to people to come at the time that suits them. Okay, the types of programs. So this is really covering the first 18 months. So it was a bit of a trial. It was just let's see what we can put out there and what we can run quickly that we can actually see. Is it what people want based on our needs analysis? So Project Wellness is effectively a 6-week program. And when we say that, we encourage people to come the 2 hours every week for 6 weeks because it builds that connectivity and the support of the group. But obviously it's not compulsory. People have lives, they have treatment, they sometimes just don't feel like coming. So it's very much, again, an informal thing. What we find though is people that do come to all 6 weeks love it and get very good outcomes at the end. And probably the best outcome is they connect with people and they continue on with that person they've made the connection with and support each other. In terms of what we present each week, the first week is self-care, the second week is exercise, the third week is nutrition, fourth is pain management, fifth is sleep, and sixth is medication. And each of those sort of 40-minute sessions are run by one of our actual allied health or nursing professionals in our hospital. So people usually who work in the cancer field, so they've got the knowledge, or somebody who's really interested in it or has done study in it. So the first part of that is evidence-based, the current research, what's out there that we know that helps, but it's also opening for other people to make comments. Sue, our psychologist, always runs the second part, which is looking at, we all know what we're supposed to do. We all know we're supposed to eat and exercise. We know what we're supposed to do, sleep. What are our barriers? What stops us from actually doing that? So it becomes more a personal, patient-centred thing then. What is it that stops me doing what I know I need to do, and how can I fix it? And then it's actually goal setting, and it's sitting down and making yourself accountable for what you're going to do to actually try and move forward. I've only got 5 minutes, so I could talk for 50 hours. Mindfulness, we do a 6-week program of mindfulness. Again, it's 2 hours a week, so people can come the whole time, would be the preference. Self-care and relaxation was facilitated by Quest for Life because we were funded by New South Wales Health, but the funding's changed, so that's going to change. Legal and Financial Management Forum, we actually held a luncheon in the Wyong area for people to come and learn about what supports are out there in terms of financial assistance, because the social workers identified that that was a key area of concern. Your Next Step to Wellness was a 6-week practical exercise class, so we had people come every week for an hour and a half for 6 weeks to actually do exercise. That was a phenomenal success. Music therapy, we had sessions running all through the year where people could just drop in. We did a songwriting course, which was phenomenal. They wrote their own song. A man in that group, 2 very young children, he wrote the song with the group of 4, and the week after it finished and they recorded it, he died, and he left that song for his children. So, phenomenal outcome. Sorry, I'll move along. So overall, in the first 18 months, we did 257 hours of programs. Remember, this is not funded through the health service. This is funded by the community. There were 206 individual adults that came, but there were 575 times that people came. 544 hours of additional therapy. Basically, the things we were looking at, because I can't do research, one of the things with the MOU is I'm not allowed to do research, but what I can do is capture what people are saying. Were participants motivated to change behaviours? Because that's what we were looking at. You're saying you want to change, you want to do something. Are you really motivated? At the end, 81% said yes, and 19% of that 145 group said that they hadn't changed. So nobody said no, but 19% said they hadn't changed. Overall, this is what people said. Gained new information, 75% did. Opportunities to express self, 58%. Gaining new skills, 50%. Reduced anxiety, 50%. A feeling of connectedness, 46%. And a sense of fun, which is fantastic, was 40%. And one of the things we do is we do try and make it fun. We have piñatas. And the piñatas, particularly in the mindfulness sessions, to get your aggression out at the end is a really fantastic thing to do. I was going to do it for you, but I can't. It's too hard. I've got chocolates, so you can have those at the end. But we try and make it fun because people say all they want to be normal. They want to do what they used to do as much as possible. So our focus is very much on having fun. Do more of what makes you happy. I have a little story I have to show you. I'm sorry, I've got 1 minute, so I'll be very quick. I've brought, because I couldn't bring the people, I brought the photos. So Ray and Gina here. Ray, and he's given me permission to do this. Ray, he's had cancer for over 4 years. And he's been going to the same doctor for 4 years at our health service. And the doctor came to me and he said, I don't know what to do for Ray. He's really depressed. Is there anything you can do? And I said, yeah, we've got all these courses. So we rang him and along he came. He went to the 6-week course with Sue for the Project Wellness. And by the end of it, the doctor came to me and said, I can't believe it. Like, he's a changed man. He was depressed, now he's happy. He's living life to the full. I can't believe it. It's instant change. And what he said to me was, I was spending so much of my time trying to find a cure to survive that I'd actually forgotten to live. So we're just finding it's really basic, simple things that we're doing, but it's what people are asking for and what they're wanting. So what we're saying is you choose to come. We will encourage you, we will motivate you because we're all about coaching and motivational intervention. But it is choice and it's readiness and it's timeliness, and that is completely individual. Gina said she's got her husband back. I have never seen them happier. They came to one of our things. They exercise all the time, they always have, but that wasn't the thing they needed. They needed to get the mindset of life is what's important. Do more of what you love every day. And I had coasters, and that, again, little things. I had these coasters that just said, do more of what makes you happy. She took it with her and she said to me, she still tells me, every morning they get up, they have their cup of coffee together on that coaster, and every day they make sure they do something really special that they love. Now he's terminal, and I'm sorry, one really quick thing. Stuart and Pamela, and unfortunately Stuart's just become sick today, but Stuart wrote the most amazing letter. He's a very, very intelligent accountant, and he wrote, what you have created and developed has given colour back to my life, full of music and a zest for living life to its fullest. I only wish I'd attended earlier. People say that, but you've got to be ready. I was overwhelmed with the positive impact this program is having on me and my family's life. I must admit I'd lost interest in life and the continual struggle to survive. I'm so grateful for the wonderful support, practical information and actions. It has totally transformed my life. I'm now planning for my future and writing to-do lists. I feel more in control of my life. The interesting thing with Stuart, he didn't want to live anymore, and now in the last probably year, he's very ill now, but in the last year he and Pamela have had a phenomenal life together. So wellness isn't about let's keep you all well so that cancer doesn't come back, or let's keep you all well so you don't get cancer. It is about living life now and making the most of what you've got. Thank you. Thank you. I'll leave that.
Stay there. Stay there, you're not getting away. We thank you very much for that, Tia. We have time for probably one or two questions for Tia.
What about space? Oh, good question. Good question. When we started, we very much ran them in the hospital because the idea was, particularly Project Wellness, the 6-week one, the thought was, well, that'll be for people currently going through treatment. So there was already a thought and assumption there of what we needed to do. So we ran them in the hospital. They did go very well. We were allowed a room in the cancer centre and also one at Wyong. So we only ran them at Gosford Hospital and Wyong Hospital at that point, which is not equitable. So then this year what we've done is we've booked venues right across the coast. It's been a little bit more challenging, a bit more difficult, but in terms of patient accessibility, we're using the Dry July funds to book council venues. We booked the Japanese Gardens one time because it's lovely, to book those so that people can actually come to those right across the coast, because transport's one of our huge issues, as it is for everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lovely.
I think we've got one quick question, have we?
I just wanted to say, it sounds like a great program and it's supporting it, but I'm wondering what the plans are for the long-term sustainability of the program. I doubt that the charitable funding will last forever.
Yeah, that's another excellent question. So we've got another 3 years of funding. We're locked in for that, which obviously is fundraising each year, so we're dependent on how much money we get. We've got a fair bit stored from the start because it costs very little to run these programs. It's what we do, we engage our health professionals and we backfill the departments. So when I get the 2 physios to run my exercise program, I will pay the director there the cost of those 2 hours for each person, or 3 hours actually it is now, so 6 hours in total. And then they use that to backfill their staff. So that's probably our other innovative way. We actually have had so many people come on board now because our participants are out there badgering their local doctors and badgering everybody they can think of to say, this is what we need to do. This is what's going to save you money in the long run, keeping us and our family and carers well. We'll be out of the health system. We're looking after ourselves. We're learning how to do that ourselves. So Tour de Cure have come on board. They've just adopted us. We've just been really, really lucky that the people that are coming to our programs are so passionate and are wanting to sell it. So that's where my emphasis is now, on promoting that. And our last Dry July campaign, which was very much media orientated, was around people like Stuart and Ray, and you'll notice they're men, talking about what a wonderful program it was and having the opportunity to actually express their feelings. So the groups work so well. They support each other.
Thank you very much, Tia. Thank you. Please, thank you.